live. We'll probably take a second.
Yay.
It's just like a rainbow of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live, but I'm gonna let some people trickle in. It says we have 8 people watching.
Oh, good. Hello, people. Hi.
Welcome, everybody. The number's kind of fluctuating, but that's okay.
Look at all these fun papers.
Oh, I love that.
This, you know what this one is? This one is dark, was a dark one. See, it just was one quick, easy print. Boom, with the dark core.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really love that.
This one, I like this one too. So many papers, so many papers. And the interference colors are gorgeous. Which I have.
Oh, what is that? Interference colors? Is that
Yeah,
like the
they're made out of clear. They have a pigment in there that reflects on the light. You know, so this one will reflect a red tone when put on a dark color. And so some of them, like there's an interference gold, interference green. Here's an interference green, interference blue, and they're really gorgeous when you put them on dark papers. So that's why I have them, because we have some dark papers. Plus, it just makes it look wonderful, like just a little hint of the interference colors. It looks fabulous.
So is it kind of like, so interference, that's different from like iridescent?
Yes, because iridescent is more opaque and interference or translucent, or transparent. You can only see them if light's reflecting, you know, they're reflecting back out. So the light that bounces back, that's the color you'll see. And then a pearlescent or metallic will be more solid, you know, opaque. You know, the color is in the chips, in the little metal chips. And these are more coated, like this difference between this one and this iridescent, interference iridescent. You can see even on their color thing.
Ooh.
See the opacity on this one, and then transparent on this side.
Ooh. Denise says, hello from stormy South Florida.
Hi, Denise.
Sorry for missing folding today. Oh, we're glad
you're
here.
Denise. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you could make it.
Yes, we have
I hope everything is safe in Florida.
Bella, Pebble to Pearl. Oh, so we have a number of people here, so maybe we could get started. And like we know, these videos do stay up on YouTube after we're done recording, so people can always go back and watch it at their own leisure, or you know, if there was a part that you missed or wanted to just watch over again, or even play it in the background as you're doing this on your own, it'll be there on YouTube. So today, Karen's going to be demonstrating how to do some really cool gel printing and even other forms of just printing and like kind of making your own paper with our PURE Origami paper, which is great for not just folding, but all kinds of projects. So we have 4 PURE Origami packs. The one Karen's going to be using today is our 100 colors, 100 sheets pack. And that really means you get 100 different colors in this pack. It's like the most amazing thing when you open and flip through it, like Karen's demonstrating. Thank you. So pretty. It's 81.4 GSM paper, so it's really nice and sturdy. It's different than the regular kami weight origami you'll find in stores usually, so it's really good for all kinds of folding, like we said, but great for other things too, even just drawing or sketching on with pencils or crayons, or you could do a number of things with it. And as you'll see in today's demo, it is a core colored paper. So it has a colored core, meaning it's not printed with color. It actually has color running through the whole sheet. It has the most amazing effect. Oh, there we go. So the flip side shows the color of the paper itself. And when you rip it, you can see that's the color. Oh, beautifully demonstrated.
I'm Vanna White today.
Yeah. We take turns. So there are other sets available besides the 100 color 100 sheets, which is the one we're looking at today. There's also a mini version of it, which is a 3-inch square pack, and there's also packs in assorted reds and assorted blues. But I think that's all I really want to say about the PURE paper. Go ahead and drop any questions or comments, or anything you'd like to share or ask us to slow down or revisit in the comments, I'll keep an eye on that. There's those minis.
They're cute.
I love them. And Karen's going to go ahead and show us some cool printing techniques.
All right. Thank you, Phoebe. Okay, so yesterday I kind of got lost in making these and how much fun it is to do mono printing and gel printing on these papers because they already have your base layer is already there. Your base color is already there. So really, you're really going to use less paint. And you can have fun with just kind of playing with the layers and how they work. Like I have a purple here with some gold, and that's all I have. And it looks much richer and much deeper than, if I were just to go on plain one color, white paper. So the other thing that's great about these is you can not only use them to make gorgeous origami. In fact, I want to show you. So the difference between an origami that you would find, we have, Yasutomo, of course, we have great papers, origami papers, but if you do a this is a very classic origami design, but look how beautiful it is with gel printed papers. So I just wanted to share that I think it's really fun to custom make your own paper. And each one is unique. It just kind of changes the value of your folded pieces in the sense of your own mind, like, for a gift or anything. It makes it more special. So this took me a little over an hour yesterday. Mostly, I think I spent more time cleaning up than I did making the prints. But I want to just kind of show you the process, what I did and how this works. I made some plain ones because I do plan to collage with these and so I like to have a kind of some busy things and also some more places for my eyes to rest. So I'll show you how I do that. And so we'll get started. So I'm going to put my little one. Also, I'm going to show you how I do the sponging, which is something I've been doing for years and years and years, is to sponge color onto paper. And these papers are fabulous because they don't wrinkle, they don't buckle. They curve a little bit, but this is how I didn't have to flatten these. This is how they came out dry like this. I didn't have to do anything. And look how gorgeous the prints are. So let's get started. And I'm going to show you what I'm working with. I've got a Jelly Arts printing plate. I'm going to use the 6-inch today just because it's a little easier. I have a small space here, but yesterday I did use the 8x10. And I want to show you, I think maybe it says it in the instructions, but when you take it out of the plastic you get it comes like this, and it comes with these two plastic pieces. I lost mine already, but it comes with two plastics, it comes shipped like that. You peel those off. You don't use those again when you're storing it. And what you do is when you're finished with the printing session, you can use copy paper. I'm just showing you this. This keeps your plate much smoother it doesn't have bubbles on them. Basically, I've had this plate for quite some time. And I keep my plates pretty clean. Some people keep them dirty. And I love the way the dirty ones look because it takes a little while for the plate to start seasoning with paint. So I'm going to show you. So there's my little 6-inch plate. I have, as you know, 6-inch stencils have been made in 6-inch. The Crafters Workshop makes these gorgeous stencils, 6-inch square, perfect size for this plate and for this paper. So boom, you've got a nice little, like if you're going to buy a gift for somebody, wouldn't this be great? They get the stencils, they get this, and anyway, and then you're forever having fun creating. So what I do is I take the 100 pack of this pure paper and I weed out the pastels for this project only. I weed out the pastels, the neutrals, and in the white. There's only one white in it, but I kind of want some saturated deep tones here. So that's why I do it like that. This is my stack that I'm hoping to do today. We'll see if I get through them, but I want the colors to be really rich and saturated. So I'm going to set that aside. Got my little sort of station here. I've got in front of me the stencils. I've got paper onto the side of me. I just got some copy. These are just under paper that I use to make the prints, but I'll reuse them. Really, nothing gets thrown away. It's really amazing how try to keep it. So I try to not have anything I throw away. Another thing that I really love using is this. It's a Yasutomo. And I'm not sure, maybe you can tell me if we still have this size. I know we have a size, but this is we may have a slightly smaller size than this. This could be the older one. But either
Yeah, let
way,
me double check because we used to have two, and actually we might have even had more, like going way back. But it's so
okay,
funny that you brought that out because someone just mentioned that they just picked one up.
good,
So yeah, we do
great.
have that one. Is that the 4-ish inch one?
Yes, I think it's a little over 4 inches. I can double check though. Let me just double
Yeah,
check.
yeah, we still have both
It-
sizes.
Yeah, this
And
is
I guess it
the
depends.
larger one. So the newer, the one that we might have is a 4 inch in diameter. It's just going to be a little smaller, which is probably better. So, but I just want to say this is important to have because it's going to save your hands. It's really great to have, and it won't scratch your papers. So I want to make sure you know about that. It's actually a printmaking baron, or actually in Japan they say baden, but it is a printmaking baron, and it's just a really nice thing. I've had this one for years and it's in great shape. So anyway, we'll get to that in a second. And I'll show you how it's used real quick. You put your fingers in like this, and then just, that's how you use it, like this. So you put them in where the first fold is on your fingers here. And then when you work, you're going to do this. Okay. So that's just a little quick one on that. I also have some paints. I'm going to try to keep my palette sort of limited. I'm going to go back to my favorite of all time color mixing range here. Hansa yellow, phthalo blue, and quinacridone magenta. I also have some gold, interference gold, some quinacridone gold, but I'm going to keep my colors transparent because I want the layers to show through the pure paper colors. So, and that's all I'm going to use. I've got also a sponge for some sponging and some assorted stuff that I'll be bringing out as I work my little, just start my thing. First thing I'm just going to do is lay down, just do some color. I need to actually get this thing seasoned. So I'm going to, now I see, I'm going to take my pile of paper and I'm going to decide, I'm going to take I'm going to start working with opposites. So I've got a blue color here, and of course, why would I want to use my blue paper? So I'm going to move those out of the way. I'm going to turn it over and maybe just start with the greens and some of the orange. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Okay, so thinking of colors, as I work, and if I could, I don't think I can zoom these out. Actually, I'm going to zoom my table out just a hair. I think it's going to help, so you can see. That's a little better, I think, right? A little better view, so you can
I
see.
think that's nice.
Yeah, a little bit better, so you can see kind of more of what I've got going here. So I've got a little small brayer. I've had this 100 years, as long as I've been. Yeah, I don't know what size that is, but about 3.5, maybe a 3-inch brayer. Any size brayer. I mean, really, whatever you have. Brayers, you got to have that. That's important. So I'm going to use a little tube paint just to start. I'm just going to put a little bit right directly on this plate. And I'm going to do a couple colors, and it doesn't matter. This is like a heavy body tube paint. And then I'm just going to put a light blue fluid onto it. If I can get it open. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit. And I'm not going to do too much. I don't want it too heavy. I'm going to just brayer it on, and not a really thick amount. I mean, I've got a nice amount of paint here, and there we go, like that. And then I'm going to stick. I always like to do, this is fun, just to take while the brayer is wet. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to turn this over to the side, and I'm going to put this piece of paper right here. I'm going to show you that why waste your paper when you can just go straight across. And now I've just made a really cool mark, and I may even do the same here. Let's just try another one. Yeah. Basically, why waste paint, right? Just make a monoprint straight off that. And look how gorgeous that opposite color is. So now I've got a clean brayer, and now I'm going to just stick a stencil. I'm going to stick a stencil right on top, and I'm going to lay this orange, because I'm doing opposite colors. I'm going to lay it straight on top of that, and I'm hoping I didn't wait too long. And this is where I take a piece of paper, or in this case, I don't need to, because I've got, there's no paint really on there. I'm just going to use my Baron, and I'm going to really kind of push that paper into the grooves of the stencil as much as I can. And I can feel the plate squishing out a little, and that's okay. This is my first layer of this. And I'm going to go ahead and peel it up, and I've got a very nice impression of this here. But now I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to stick, and I have a little trick I want to tell you about. Murphy's oil soap in a little water. I'm going to spray that on, and I won't have to clean my stencil. It'll just melt right off. So that just want you to know, that's what I do. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. It's one layer, or I might be happy with the way it is. Now I can take, I can let this dry, but I don't feel like waiting for that to dry. I'm going to see if I can get something. Let's do this. Why not? Because it already has color on it. I'm just going to see what I can get out of that. I don't know. We'll see. Well, oops. Get too excited here. This is where I like to put it on. And I don't like to get paint on my hands or on the back of the papers because I do want the paper to be pure color. I don't want to have paint on the back because I plan to use it as a double-sided paper. So I'm going to lift it up. It feels like I've lifted up quite a bit. It's nice. So now I have a really interesting print here. So I've really used very little paint. And I've got 2 prints out of that one, one thing. Now I'm gonna let that dry a little. It's okay. These are pretty. I'm gonna set them aside for now. You know what I could do? I'm gonna let those dry, but I've got some ideas, but I'm gonna just stay with this for a sec. What I could do, I'm gonna do it because I want to. So I've got these 2. I think they're beautiful, but I think they need another layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this pearl, well, maybe some interference. Okay, some interference red. And it's kind of dried on the plate, which is a good thing. I want it to dry on the plate a little bit. Got a little interference red here and maybe some iridescent gold just for fun. I'm going to put a little, oh, that was never used before. I got to get that thing. There we go. Pearl gold. That's a Holbein pearl gold. This is a golden interference red. And now I'm just going to kind of do a little mishmash of interference color on top of that. Same thing. I don't want to waste, here we go. I do not want to waste my brayer on anything. Look how pretty that is. Just like that. That's finishing pretty much. It's pretty good the way it is, but I may decide to come back to that later. So that one is there, and I'm just going to grab a stencil just because I might as well see what I can do. I'm going to stick it right on top, and then maybe I'll put it over this one because this one still needs some stuff. And then I'll go ahead and press deeply with my handy Baron and just kind of push it. And this is actually really helps with the paper. And if you have delicate papers, you're trying to do something with rice paper or something, this banana leaf or whatever it's made of, I think it's banana, it won't scratch your paper. It's amazing. And so now I've got this nice little, I picked up a little bit, but not much. That's okay. I picked up just a little bit. And there, but there's a gorgeous print there. Spritz. I could see
By the
something
way,
gorgeous.
I guess it's some bamboo bark.
Bamboo bark. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
pretty cool.
Okay. Yay. Thank you for letting I thought it was a banana leaf. That's funny.
Very
bamboo.
Asian.
Even better because bamboo is a very renewable. There's so much bamboo out there, right? It grows like weeds. It grows like crazy. So that's great. So now I'm going to pick up this, and there's not, most of it's dry. You notice it didn't really pick up much color. So I'm going to set that aside. That's almost dry. Good thing, because I can play with maybe some zinc white if you haven't, or some interference blue. Right now that's gold, and I think it was red. So I'm going to put a little, oh yeah, why not? Interference blue. I'm just going to put that on. Not too much. I don't want to overdo it. And maybe, ooh, yummy. And then maybe just a little of this. This is like the aqua, just a tiny bit. I'm just going to move it around and kind of just do it on the plate. And again, I'm not wasting it. I'm going to put it right across there. Pretty. And there we go. So I'm going to, at this point, take a dark, like an orange color. I'm going to just pick it up. I'm going to do a fresh print on this one. And I'll just, and really this is going to be like in a small space. I'm working in a 3.5 foot by 5 foot table. That's all I've got, plus with all my paints and everything else. And it's it's got some places where you have to store the prints once they start getting everywhere, but it's pretty neat. You don't have to feel like you have to have a huge space to do this, especially with this nice little 6-inch plate. And I'm going to pick that up, and it looks like it picked up really nice at all the colors and in the pattern. You can see that nice. I don't know if you could see it, but
gosh.
You can
see. Maybe can we get it even closer? I can see it. It's like pinkish almost.
Yeah, I'm gonna just. I can zoom it. Let me just zoom it quickly. See.
Wow.
So isn't that beautiful? I love it. So I'm going to set that aside. So now I've got a double-sided paper, wow. So when you tear it, you're going to get this beautiful orange core. So I'll keep working in this family. So you can see I'm kind of working along a family here just to make it so I'm not making a muddy mess or having colors that really just don't work together. So I'm just kind of doing it in that way. I'm going to use some quinacridone. I'm going to get a little bold here. I'm going to go a little crazy. I'm going to put some, let me just I'm just going to go crazy. A little quinacridone magenta, that's too much. I overdid it, but that's okay. That sometimes it happens, but I'm going to make it so that I'm going to roll this on. And if it's too much, like that's a lot of paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take let's see, which one do I want to play with? Quinacridone magenta, that one I like, but I think I'm liking that one. So I think that one needs just a little something. So I'm just going to go kind of do another roll here and I'm just kind of painting with my paper, and it makes gorgeous patterns. Just, especially if you have, let's say, I'm going to do this. I'll show you. I'll put this stencil on top, and now I'm going to roll the stencil. Right, I'm going to roll it right on, and then I'm going to take the same thing, roll it, and you'll see the image of that stencil goes on goes right on to the paper. There, the pattern is right there. That one's done. That one looks good, and I didn't even have to use the gel, so you could see it right there how it made a pattern.
That's so cool.
Isn't that fun? Wow. And that's utilizing your paper. So I'm gonna make a fresh one here because I don't want to get. So I've got the stencil sitting on there. I might as well grab another paper and just see what happens when I try to pull a print. What the heck? And I'm using the color and doing opposite colors, complementary. Transparent color is gonna look different when it is on the yellow than if it was on blue. So there. Well, let's see what that looks like. It's always fun. This is like Christmas every time because I love. That's kind of fun. It's not done yet, but it's fun. I'm going to take this. That. Yeah, it's kind of neat by itself. Now there's a beautiful thing going on underneath there, and I'm going to work quickly to make this work. I've got to hurry up because I've got to do this quickly. If it dries, it will not work. Mind you, I live in Arizona. I don't live. If it was a humid environment, it would dry a lot slower. So here's a trick: if you live in a really dry place, you want to use like open thinner, something that is a retarder that slows your drying time down. But or just work fast, and it all works. So this one, let's see how this one looks. The yellow, oh, and it feels like all of the color picked up. So you see, I've got two prints from one thing, and I can decide what I want to do next. What's nice is there's a little bit of this magenta sitting on the plate, which I really like. I'm going to work with I see a quinacridone red. I'm going to try that because it's kind of in the same family. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dribble some color, but maybe I'll put some interference color too. This is about how much I really needed. The other one was like way too much. This is a quinacridone red. Now this red is a good mixing red. It's a fabulous mixing red. I'm just going to put this stencil right on top. And I may just put a little, I've never done this before, but I'm going to do it to see what happens. I'm going to put a little bit of interference red on top, kind of sandwiching the colors, and I want to see what happens. This will be the first time I've ever done this. But I think it'll be fun first. Yeah, it'd be fun to see what happens. And then again, I like to take a print and just go right over it, see what I can get from that. Ooh, so I was able to roll some of that on, and then I'm going to take this beautiful yellow because I'm in the same range. I'm trying to keep it in the same, kind of have a series, right? So there is that, and I'm going to try to pull up as much as I can. But you can see how I can go in an hour. I can get through 60 the way I'm doing this. It's kind of like a mass production printing process, but it really works, and you get more prints that way. So let's see what we got. We got a few dots, not much. And now I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to move fast. I'm going to take it's got to be a lighter color. This time, just for fun, I'm going to grab the blue and see what happens. I've got this kind of a nice blue. And I'm going to take that and spritz. You'll hear that spray every time just so I can save my stencils. There we are, like that. And now, sometimes also, if you just have this part here, you can take your time on. Like once that paper is on the plate, you really can take your time. If I can find my bearing. You don't need to rush as much as just putting, before, you just don't want the paint to dry on the plate before you, get that paper on there. I'm just going to take my time a little bit, just really get that stuff to stick. And let's see if it does. Yep, it did pretty well. It did pretty well, but there's still some left over, which is always a fun thing. So I've got, nice little interesting interference colors. I see that I'm going to keep this print. It's ready to go. I love the way it looks. So I'm just going to put that. I've got this print done. This one's done. And now I'm going to take, these are the ones that I'm going to just kind of play with. That means I'll just keep working with them because they're not quite done. That means I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to try, just be bold here. I'm going to try this blue. This, it's like what color is that? Light blue, permanent, Liquitex, basics. It's not really expensive. You can get, we just found out, you can get a myriad of colors and it's not going to kill you, price-wise. But then if you mix it with some phthalo blue, let's say, because that's a light blue and you want to just deepen it a little bit. This color is phthalo blue. Red shade, if I can get it out. I don't want to put too much, just a little, goes a long way there, just a little. See how it just, whoa, changed it. And it's a very gorgeous, gorgeous color. And I'm just going to be a little more generous with that this time. And I'm going to use a floral one. I love this stencil. It's a very delicate pattern, very, very botanical. I really love this one. Now I'm going to try to see what I'm going to put it over this. I'm going to do a complementary color, and it is very over the yellow. Yeah, it's all right, but it's a dark. But what I'm going to like about it is it's going to be a really dramatic departure between the yellow side and then the blue side. It's going to look pretty nice. So now when I do dark colors, though, I do need to work light. So I'm going to grab one here. This is kind of on the lighter side, so I'll just put that on top. And then do my thing. You can use your hand if you don't have something like this, but this really kind of makes it much more even. And I'm not even holding it right, but it gives you an even pressure on your plate. So you're going to get better prints and more saturation color when you do that. So let's see. And you notice I'm not wasting a lot of paper. I've got, I'm just using those 2 sheets so far. So let's see what we got. That is gorgeous. See how that one, just with the orange in the background, just a little hints of the orange. You've got that first layer, and then I have this beautiful orange. I love that one. I'm going to make that a keeper. The hard part is when you're tearing these sheets up for collage, it's really hard because you don't want to tear up these gorgeous papers, but they really do. It's kind of like, oh no, I'm going to tear this paper.
I have kind of a selfish question because I'm like kind of shopping as I'm watching you. This looks
so good.
But because I know you're using like a 6x6 inch. If you only had one, like, would you recommend? Because I'm going to be using it with the Pure, but maybe other stuff too. Should I stick with a 6x6 or should I look for a larger one?
If you're going to get into this, really, I'd have an 8x10 because you can print on these Pure papers with an 8x10 and have no edges, your borders will be bled all the way out. So I would suggest an 8x10, or if you really want it, like I've got all sizes.
If I get really into it.
But my favorite, the one I use most often is the 8x10. That's just the one I have. It seems to be look at that one. See the blue, how gorgeous that blue kind of, and some of that metallic kind of pop through that red.
Yeah, I agree with Denise. She says, yummy.
Yummy, yum. I know, isn't it something? So now we've got these, and I do have, and I got to keep away, or if I pull my pastel papers out, because I forgot that, I had taken away all the pastels. I should throw in those mouse colors or pastels, because you can create, I'll just put some neutrals here just for lighter colors. Because you just never know. You might decide, if your plate has a lot of dark colors on it, you don't want to use it on a dark paper. Like this one, it's on a dark paper, so I lost a lot of the detail, even though it's still pretty. It's just, it's kind of lost a little bit. So now I am going to take some of this gold because I think it's so gorgeous. I'm going to put it, this looks to me like a Grecian something very Grecian. So I'm going to put this gorgeous gold again. I forgot. I need to just take that lid off. See how pretty that is? Oh, yummy, yum. Don't want to lose any of that. It's so pretty. I used to have a bigger thing of it and I can't find it. So I'm just going to have to stick with my little tube, my little things. Now, most of these stencils, if you notice how they have a border, like this one's from Artist Seller. This is an Artist Seller stencil, just so you know the brand. This has a border, so you can lay it onto your gel plate, right to your, this one's a Jelly Arts plate. You just lay it right on and you have a nice little border. And your border on your pure paper is, you know, gorgeous. So with the color. So let's, we're going to do something. I'm going to get a little crazy here. I've got, I see I want to use maybe, what's a Grecian color? I'm going to use this blue just because it's a dark color. I'm going to pull that out. And I'm going to first take a little print using, I'm just going to go straight over this, even though I know it's not botanical. Or maybe I'll go over this one. And first, let's see. Oh, I'm all over the place again. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. That picked it up right there just by doing that. So you can just kind of change it just by using that extra paint that you would normally just, you know, not, you would just roll it off onto some parchment paper or some jelly paper. Why not use it for your prints? And it will, and then get some prints that have sort of resting place areas, you know, places that aren't busy, soft. Now that one showed just very little. So, but it's still fun. Now I'm going to lift it off and there's a really nice print there. And now this one is going to be straight onto that. Just going to do it right on top. And well, and here's, you got to be multitasking. So with my right hand, I am pressing the paper and my left hand, I sprayed the stencil. I wish you had a picture of the whole thing front on.
Ambidextrous.
Because it'd be funny. Well, it's kind of funny because I'm so weird about stencils. I don't like them. Some, you know, like I have a few that are kind of, you know, they've been colored on and by themselves they're pretty cool looking. But most of the times I like to have all the paint off of them so that I think they'll last longer that way. You know, just, and this one didn't really pick up much. You see how pretty that is, but it didn't really pick up much. So I'm going to just set this over here. And now I have this beautiful pattern, but it needs to be lifted and I gotta get that lifted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that one. Of course, that one's pretty too, just by itself. I'm starting to, you know, love these prints. And this one I kind of like too, but it has a little, it's just pretty by itself. I'm going to leave that alone. I think I'll do a new one, another blue one, just because I love that color combination. And this one I'll probably use some brayering on. So I'm going to grab some interference green because it's pretty and it's transparent. So in a lot of gel, you know, people who are doing gel printing, you'll do layers that dry, you know, many layers. And then your last layer is a thin translucent color like white or just a white color because it would be your last color that shows on the back. But I like this because what I can do, should be dry enough, I'm hoping. Let's see. And I'm not putting a lot on. I'm just gonna brayer it on. That's so pretty. And hopefully this, I'm hoping, we'll see, and I'm just gonna do that. And I'm just gonna take this, there you go, and I'm gonna lay it on there, and I'm hoping it will pick up all the layers. We'll see. Some paints don't lift. I found that matte acrylics don't really do well as far as picking up the layers. I don't know why, but they don't. Maybe because it's more chalky. But we'll see. And you can give it time too. Like patience is always a virtue in this. It's like, okay, just there we go. Yeah, these, and if you go, I don't know where you're shopping for your plate, Phoebe, but I think jelly, I think you can get them off Amazon. See all that color came off. See, it's all off the plate. And now most of it's going to be on the paper and it's going to be lovely. Do you see those patterns underneath that interference glue? Isn't that?
Yeah, I love when you move it, we can really see it. That's cool.
Oh, that's like jewelry to me. So, wow. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. That's like a beautiful, perfect print. I'm just going to set that aside. And then when you see these little chunks, this is now when the plate's starting to really do its magic. all these little bits of paint that stick on there, they end up coming off onto a print anyway, little bits here and there. So it starts to look more interesting as you start to work. So I'm going to do a little bit more like color mixing again, I'm going to use some magenta, just a little, and then I'm going to use a little gold, quinacridone gold.
We like that gold. Gail agrees. I also agree. We love the dark blue and yellow gold. That came out looking
Yes,
so cool.
Isn't that pretty? Now this is a quinacridone gold. This is a transparent gold. I'm not going to use a lot, but it's going to warm up that. It's going to kind of do something with that magenta. Ooh, I got some on my glass thing. Now notice I'm using a glass cutting board as my surface. The reason I'd use that is because the glass cutting board keeps my plate from slipping all over the place, and I can go wash off my gel plate anywhere. Here we go. I'm just going to do that. We'll see what happens when I do that. Ooh, fun. I'm just going to put that on like this, and maybe a layer just for giggles here. Let me just, because I'm looking, just want to keep layering onto these ones that aren't as interesting as I'm sure they're interesting, but I really want to get most of the front of this pure paper to be covered with paint so that I can have that color core, dramatic color core when I do my collages. There we go. That's fun. See, that added a whole new dimension, but now I'm going to quickly go, if I have another piece that's a little bit like that. Here's one. I'm going to lift that off, and I'm not going to even bother spraying that one. That one's kind of, so this one, I'm just going to let it dry a little bit. It just kind of needs, I had a little time to dry. That'd be fun. And just on this one, just by itself, see how pretty it's getting with the extra, just a little extra coat of color. And I think what I'll do is I see there's some green here. I'm going to grab a little, which one do I want? I think it's a pearlescent gold. I'll use that. Why not? I'm just going to put a little bit over this. Maybe I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to put this over that. Why not? Just see what happens. Because I'm going to show you the texture of what's going to happen when it goes deep into the grooves of the stencil. And if we kind of push, it is squishy. Your plate is kind of squishy. So there we are. And I'm going to show you how fun that is. The pattern, you can't see it that well, but there is a pattern that kind of happens with doing this. So then I'm going to lift that up. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Okay, now I'm going to grab a piece of paper. This one looks appropriate for that. No, this one. We'll see how this lifts off with that nice blue core. And that's why we called it pure, because it is pure color. Most double-sided papers, when you tear them, you have a white core, and then you get that slip showing. It reminds me of a slip. You're wearing a really pretty dress and that white slip shows. But this is like the most incredible decorative. It just adds a whole new dimension to your collage and your mixed media and your greeting cards. Oh boy, look at that. So it lifted off, and look at that. See that, how that just kind of gorgeous, luminous, sort of pretty rich colors. Now at this time, I'm going to sit this one because I think it still needs a little paint. Now I'm loving this. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm just going to kind of do some stuff here. I want to show you some things that are not jelly. I'm going to let that sit and dry and kind of marinate over there or get seasoned or whatever it needs. So I'm just going to show you really quickly a fun little thing. I've been doing this for years and years since I was, well, a long time ago. So I'm going to spray. I'm not going to do it on top of my table, but I just spritzed this with a little water. If you put it in, it's just a house, one of those car washing sponges. I'm getting it kind of wet, damp. It doesn't want to be drip, drip. You don't want it really, really drippy wet. I'm going to take, let's see, I'll do this to show you how dramatic, how cool it looks. But I might even do it over on this one too. I'll start with this one. All right, so I'm going to grab, this is where I'm going to need a palette. So I'm going to grab just going to move these papers here for a minute. I'm going to grab this is just a wax, it's a wax peel off palette. Strathmore makes these. And I'm going to put down some color. I'm just going to put down some pearl gold. And I'm going to also put down some interference red. I think oh no, let's see. I want to do blue. I think that would look pretty because this is blue. That's zinc white. No, I don't want that. Here's the blue. And I've got blue and gold on there, and maybe a little bit of some just bright gold. kind of in 3 places. I'm showing you here. See 3 places right there. That's a lot of paint for what I'm doing, but hopefully. The thing about this technique is you will use a lot of paint, more than you want probably. But you know, it's if you have like some inexpensive craft paints, it's probably better than what I'm using, you know, pretty pricey paints, but still want you to see how gorgeous it is. So I'm getting it dampened, and I'm going to take it, and I could mix it ahead of time, like, but I'm going to just I'm going to stick it in here and kind of blot it around like this. So now I've got some color on my, I've got it on there, and I'm just going to take it and create. I'm going to do this sponging, and I'm rotating my wrist as I do this, and I've got this gorgeous texture. It's like faux finishing 101, right? You can do this on your walls. In fact, that's how I learned this. Golden, many years ago, had a course, a long course. I mean, it was, if anybody from Golden watches this, they'll know. Anybody that was working for Golden 25 years ago, they did this incredible faux finishing course that I was privileged to take. There it is, it's finished. And you'll see there's some extra paint on here. So I want to show you how. So I made a really cool, this is a nice little surface for, you know, just makes a nice collage paper. So now I'm going to take it and I'm just going to tap it. I don't want to waste paint. I hate wasting paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap it into my gel print, my printed piece, just to add some color. And I, like I said, don't like wasting it. So I'm getting these little gold speckles going on, and plus it softens the image. So here, this is kind of blotchy, you know, I mean, it's kind of a very stark with the red against the yellow. So now I'm just going to soften that by just tapping these colors. Here's another way to soften it. If you have some zinc white is a transparent white or translucent. It's not opaque like titanium. I'm going to take a little zinc white and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to tap, 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 tap. And what it will do is it will soften that a little bit, and it won't cover it. You can see it's not covering at all. It's just softening it. Or if I wanted to drag this sponge across, I can do that too. Just kind of dragging it, you know, just tap it in. And what that did is it's now softened the, there we go. It's getting better because I'm really pushing it in there now. Softened it enough so that I have a really gorgeous kind of a more ethereal design here. And the back side is really intense. I can do that with any color like I want. Now to clean that, you just, again, I love this thing. I just spritz a bunch in here. Spritz a bunch of Murphy's oil soap. And that, if I just leave it overnight even, it's going to just melt off. You know, I don't have to worry about it drying up in the thing. So that is nice, but I'm thinking, we can do something else. So I'm going to I've got this stencil. This is one I made myself. I don't know, just for something to be fun, just something fun. I'm just going to lay it right on top. And I'm going to use my brayer. Now I'm just kind of going crazy, but I'm going to just try. It's not working very well. It looks really good on top of the stencil, but it's not going in because I'm not using my plate. So what I'm going to do is set that and move that out of the way for now. That was we'll call that one I'm just going to take a piece of bubble wrap and I'm just going to brayer it on. There we go. Yes, like that. And I'm going to just do it right, press it right down. If you don't, I mean, bubble wrap is my favorite, especially the big fat bubbles. I love it. Whenever I get as much as I am tempted to actually just pop them, these are my favorite, really my favorite bubble wrap because it gives you nice big circles, which I really like. So that, I just wanted to show you, you can just kind of create soften areas. And then like, oh, here's another one I wanted to try. I haven't tried it yet. I had it out to give it a shot. I'll set this aside.
No, we got some suggestions. Someone suggested using the sponge on the stencil. And then I missed the timing of it, but Heart Song Full Echo said, yes, please, all caps. I'm so sorry, but I missed what that was a response to.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, sponge on the stencil. Yay. Yeah, my sponge was already dirty. I guess I could, yeah. Put it right directly on with all that extra paint, but I soaked it up. So I kind of was like, oh, resorting to something else, but good idea. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of this gold blue, this phthalo blue, and mix it with a little interference blue, just to kind of give it some shimmer. And I'm going to take my brayer and kind of load it up here. And then I'm going to just put it right over this thing, and let's just see what happens. First of all, it looks cool just like that, but let's just see if I can make a print like this. We'll find out. I'm going to do it on a plain piece of paper, on a neutral piece of pure paper. Ooh, and I should do this too. I should actually, I'm going to go ahead and just lay it on there, and I'm going to do my thing. I'm trying to keep the, there we go. I'm going to sit it over here for a sec. And I'm also going to just do this right onto that. Just, oh, see how the flowers just kind of did their thing? Yay. Now that's fun. Okay. And now let's see what we got out of that. We got a little bit of a print, but not much, because I was paying attention to the other thing more, but we got something. So, a little impression. And I think this is really gorgeous. That mixture of interference blue with that is incredible. I'll use that for something else some other day. I don't know if I think we did this before a couple of times, but I wanted to share with you, if you didn't see this last time. I love making stencils out of glue gun stuff, because glue guns, first of all, are cheap. I mean, the material's cheap. You can make your own stencil. It's like, cheap, and it's original. It's your own artwork on there, whatever you make. Well, the way I'll tell you how I made the glue gun stencil. You just heat up your glue gun, put the glue in it, and use a glass plate or a silicone mat, and just draw designs using, and then just pick it up when it cools. This is a very fun and easy way to create stencils. And you know what? They work over and over. They don't fall apart. So, I don't worry about these if they get, if I ruin them, it's no big deal, because I can make some more, and they don't cost much. I mean, the really minimal cost. So here, I'm just going to put some blue on this time, maybe a little magenta, to show you how gorgeous. And I've got paint all over my hands. It's all right. Baby wipes when you need them. I'm just going to take this. It's a lot of paint. So again, I'm going to do a little something with this. I'm going to move this out of the way. But I'm just going to use some of these. Maybe I'll just pop them, sit them right on top like that. Let's just do this. Oops, this one here maybe. And just do it like that. Just kind of lay them on there. And this is where now I'm departing to messiness. All right, so there, I've got like my plate's covered. I'm just going to throw some, it's a little bit too heavy to put my, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just see what happens. There, I've got a nice print from that, just doing that, because I like that. I'm going to just keep doing that. You can also take your brayer and do things like this, I'm making the print, and I'm just doing little bits where I'm using it as a painting tool. So let me scooch that over and show you more. So here I see just a little bit of paint, and I'm going to just, by doing it on the glue, I'm getting this interesting impression. I'm getting a pattern, a rolling pattern, and I just love that. So that one's ready to use for origami paper. I mean, where can you buy origami paper like that, right? One of a kind. So this one I'm going to lift off, and I'm going to make a print using some neutral, because this is a very dark color. And that's a lot of paint. So I'm going to go ahead and do that using using this. My space was really clean until 2 minutes ago. And you'll notice, from yesterday's session, you can see the dark, and then when I lightened it up with the metallic, it really looks gorgeous. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it looks. Now I see a lot of that blue still sitting on there, which is going to be great. It's going to look good. And there is the imprint. And so my plan is, I'm going to put a little bit of interference blue on this, or green. Maybe that'd be fun. Let's do a little green. Just going to roll it right on. I'm going to just going to put a little bit right on there. Not much, just a little. And I'm just going to kind of do a thin coat. And then I'm just going to take that and roll it on top of that, and then roll it. So now I'm going to just kind of creating like a monoprint on a monoprint. There. That is now finished. This one is, I love the way it looks. It's kind of like the most instant collage, right? You can just do it quickly. This is now ready to pull a print, so I think I'll just use this color. It should have been a light color, but that's all right. We'll see what happens. We'll find out. But how are we doing on time? We've got a few more minutes. We got like 10 more minutes. I'll count how many prints I've done. I don't think in this time.
Do a review and a count. Yeah.
Now look at that. Isn't that pretty enough? It was done on it's still beautiful. You know, the muted colors. And this one is the one I wanted to print it on. It would have been a little bit more dramatic, but just, you know, in this one, because it is, I'm going to use some white. I'm going to take, let's see. I'm going to just use some zinc white. It's a translucent white. Like I mentioned, I always like to have both. You can even mix up the two if you want to kind of change the opacity. But there's a zinc white right there. And then I'm going to put a little zinc white over there. See, it changed it. And then I'm just going to lay this on top. And I'm going to make a print with, I don't know, something. A new piece of paper, because I need to keep plugging along here. There's this one. And there we go. I'm hoping that everyone's getting inspired. I hope that this, you know, as far as having pure paper, if you don't fold origami, this is still a must-have for mixed media. If you're not a folding person, I think it's just so much. It's just a great paper for mixed media. See how nice that printout? That's zinc white. That. It's zinc white with a little bit of. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, very.
I love that stencil too with those colors that you use.
Yeah. Wow. Now this stencil, I'll tell you if I can look at the brand. I can't tell. Oh, it's a Crafter's Workshop. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't think it's a newer one. TCW, oh boy, I don't know. That's down there. 756 small. So it's their 756 stencil. So that one is, I think it's fairly new because I just recently got some stencils from them. So now there's a leftover here, and I could hang. Let me just try to pull it from here. I don't know if I will get anything because I maybe waited too long, but let's try. See what happens. And then we can do in a few minutes, we'll do a print count. Oh yeah, it pulled up quite nicely, but see what it did? It just pulled up that pattern. And then again, when I see something like this, even though this is going to be used for collage, and I'll tear, so the core is going to be this gorgeous brick color, and then this is here. I think I'm going to still add some, whatever leftovers I have, or I can use some. Maybe I can even use this part of the plate. But these monoprinting plates, which they're really meant to be a surface to print on, right? So you don't have to use stencils if you don't want. You can actually draw on them. You can create marks like here. Let me just quickly do this. This is a silicone brush, and it's there. Just kind of making some marks on the plate. Silicone is a good thing because if you use anything that's not, use something scratchy, you're going to scratch it. This is, it's got mineral oil in it, so these last a long time if you take really good care of them. You notice I'm not using my Baron, and I'm not even using a protective sheet. I'm just kind of doing it. But then I wanted you to see that beautiful mark showing how when I lifted that, I drew into it and I got that. So now I see a print that needs to be finished. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of gold. I'm just going to go onto my plate, and I'm going to do only a side. I'm going to do just part of this thing like this. That's about it. And then I may throw a couple of marks in it just because I can. There, like this. And then I'm going to take just part of this. I'm going to do maybe a third right here, because I want to have a two-tone kind of thing going on. You'll see what I mean. Like that side. Now, and of course it didn't go all the way to the edge, but really pretty. Look at the gold. So if I want to get it to the edge, because I'm kind of funny like that, I want that. There we go. I can just roll that out, and it'll look like I meant it. It looks like it was on purpose. Same thing here. I'll do that. I'm going to try it again, and maybe I just didn't have enough paint on, or something. We'll see. I'll try this again. At that little 1/3 area, I can even take that, do that edge. So I want to line this, I want this to have a nice bright gold edge. I'm just going to use maybe this side here, maybe right there. And if you have little bits, you can always put like you want to center with some gold in it. You can just lay that on top, and you can do all kinds of pattern making, even just straight without having your stencils or having a pile of stencils like I do. See how it just made this really nice little gold streak, which I think is kind of cool. And then now
Are any of your sheets dry enough to do an origami? Because someone asked if
yes, let's do one.
I'm wondering.
What would you like to do? Let's see. I'm going to put this aside. So just to show you, when I'm going to leave this like this for a while, but when I'm really, really done, I'm going to use some hand sanitizer to clean it, but because I like mine clean. All right, so let's go and we'll fold something. Yes, they are dry enough. I can also take some from yesterday's session, but let me count how many prints and then I'll fold. Would you like me to fold a crane? It's the only one I know about.
I think a crane would just be so gorgeous.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm so curious to see.
That's the only one I know, like, yeah, that I can just do from I can do a box and things like that. But these are so pretty. I love this one. Wouldn't that look gorgeous with a crane as a crane? But let's see what else we've got. This one, tell me which one. Let's see. We've got all kinds. Let's see, there's so many, but let's count them out and I'll fold you a crane. That's still not dry enough. That's probably why I can't do that one. So in this session today, I was able to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not bad. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Not too bad. It's a lot. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the crane. I think it would be gorgeous in this color. What do you think?
I love that one.
Okay.
It's so cool that they're all so different too.
Yeah. Now that's plenty dry. Remember, I live in Arizona. So, so I'm going to zoom it up a little so you can see it a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and normally, and it's nice to have that I was able to move my glass tray out of the way. But this is going to be a crane you will never forget once it's all folded. And like I said, I was going to show you, and I'm going to show you a collage I'm working on real quickly after I fold this. I can fold cranes really fast. I'm hoping you're not trying to fold along with me because I kind of fold fast, but
okay, we have other videos on how to fold a crane.
Okay, good. I could show you how, like, this is how I go. I go fast because, I've folded thousands of these for different reasons. As you know, Phoebe, we recently, made a crane wall. So how, you need to go fast if you're going to make lots of them. But now the paint feels a little tacky right now. That's because I really haven't given it that much time to dry. But it's, because it's kind of, I can hear it kind of tacky, sticky a little bit, but it's fine. And then the only thing is you're not going to see the double-sided beauty of this with the crane, but at least that's why I want to show you the collage. But see how, look at the tips of the wing are going to have these gorgeous little orange tips.
That's nice. Watching you fold, it's really cool.
Oh, and this one's, in the paper, once you see it, when it's in its place, wherever, if it's an origami or if it's in a collage, these papers are magical. It just becomes magic. They're no longer just little squares with paint on them. They're like, whoa, how did you do that? And yes, finalizing something like this or finishing up a project with a finished thing is very satisfying. Instead of just doing the plain paper and then setting it aside, go right to making a collage or doing something with your papers, because then it'll entice you to keep going and making more, because look how gorgeous. Like, can you imagine? There we go. And I'll open it up for you. A little sticky, but I'm going to try to get it. There we go. There it is. I mean, one of a kind crane.
That's so pretty. And I like how you see little peaks of the orange. That's so cool.
Now, quickly, I'm going to show you something about collaging, just because, when you're working in a collage, you've got bits of papers, right? Little bits here and there. The paper this is paper that I gel printed on, but it has the white torn edge. And I'll see the white torn edge is like, So what I love about our paper, this pure paper, now I've got these gorgeous color core edges. And you can see how it shows up here. I glued that on a little earlier. So, you know, you can use all your collage parts like this. I thought would be fun to try. I think this is actually made from that stuff you get when they pack fruit with. I forget the name of that now. Fruit packing paper, whatever it's called. I'm just going to put it like somewhere on this collage. I'm not sure where yet. Maybe this way. The thing about collage, it's a very, it's kind of a mindful experience. You know, you got to just kind of make decisions on placement of things. And I use to put it on, and where's my little nori paste? To put it on, I'm going to use, maybe that can go underneath. I love this stuff. I've never used this stuff with nori paste, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes on. This is, I just flattened that waffly, it's honeycomb paper, I think it's called. You can get it, you know, in the grocery store. It comes like, looks like apples or something, you know, comes wrapped. You can get it in natural. I bought some of this because it was black and I love it. Yep, it works great. Nori paste is just perfect for that. And here's my little piece that I tore earlier, and I can get the paste on both sides, which is amazing. And you know what else is cool about it? I'm going to lay that right there. Maybe this way. I don't know. I'm going to go this way. What's nice about the nori, see how I can move it around? You can't do that with regular glue. It'll just be, you know, it'll be there forever. And then the very last part is I have a little focal point I'm going to put on there, probably maybe here. And that will be my collage. It's that quick, you know? So, but you can see how rich it changes everything with having your color, that pure paper color core. So there is our demo. Oh, and one thing I forgot to show you, and I had it on my paper, but we have these artist crayons. I got to show you this real quick before we sign off. You know, we use artist crayons, and they come with this beautiful clear blender, and we sell them by themselves too. I don't really want to trash my stencil, but let's say you can use a stencil, or you can just, you know, do some writing, like write a secret note, you know, say, you know, I love donuts, I eat donuts at night, whatever, you know, confession. Just do whatever you're doing. And then going on here, I'm going to do I'm going to grab some of this quinacridone magenta because it's nice and rich. I'm going to put it on my plate. Maybe I can mix a little blue too, just because it's the tiny bits. That blue is really super strong. There we go. That's about all you need. And I'm just going to do a little kind of a purpley, sort of purpley thing here. And I'm just going to quickly throw this on top of that, just because. And then I'm going to lift this off this time. And I'm going to put, oops, I don't even know which side. Okay, I hope that's the crayon side. I forgot. Oh, there it is. I'm going to put that on. Let's just see what happens. So you have your little secret message can be, you know, it could be revealed as you're making your piece. Now I'm just taking also that other plain piece that I wanted to keep going. That one is now looking a lot better. And that was the one I didn't finish. It was hiding. Now, do I see the resist? You know what's interesting? The crayon has transferred. Wow, this is interesting. I just discovered something. Wow. That crayon is now on the plate, which is bizarre. So that is kind of, it's cool. That means I'm going to have something interesting happen. So let's see. I'm going to put some blue on. Let's see if it even transfers back onto the paper. But that's wild, that crayon resisted. So I know there's some gelatin, gel printing experts that could tell me how that happened and why that would be good, you know, but, you know, I'd love to know because there's some interesting things about it. Now I've got this Shakespeare lettering thing and I need to put it on backwards. Otherwise the lettering will be wrong otherwise. But I'm just going to do this. See what happens. Ooh, go like that over that. And I'm going to take some red paper and see what happens right on there. So that's, see, I snuck in a couple more prints. There we go. And that means we got up to almost 15. I think we did get it to 15. All right, let's see what happens. And then we can sign off. And then we can, if anyone has questions or anything, welcome to Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
no questions, but I think we definitely inspired some people. People are really excited about everything they've seen.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Look at that. Now, I don't see those. I do see the crayon marks. Do you see? You can see them. The little scribblies that I made, they're there. They're actually there, but they're backwards. They're the other way around. So what it did is it transferred the paint from the first pole, this one, left it on the plate so that it could come onto this one. So that's kind of how that works. That's a new thing for me. So that's fun. That was fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. See how many prints we made? Yay. And that wasn't very long. And I didn't make too huge of a mess. But there, see how pretty those are? With pure paper, you can't, I mean, really, can't go wrong.
that's so cool. You have so much material to use for all your collages and scrapbooking and everything now.
So much fun. Yeah. And the origami. Here we've got our. Yeah.
And the origami.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Karen. That was a super fun demo. Everyone really enjoyed it and it just looks gorgeous. So I hope that everyone gets inspired. Yes, people are saying that they're inspired to try this over the weekend too. Or well, that's what I said, over the weekend. But others are inspired to try this too. It's a great project. So we hope that everyone enjoyed this. And if you do this, go ahead and tag us in your pictures too. Oops, I wanted to share the spotlight. Add spotlight.
Oh, there you go.
Because we love to see what you're using our products for, and we love to just see what you create. We get inspired by what you guys post and share too. And as always, let us know if you have ideas for other kinds of videos or projects and content that you'd like to see from us, because we can do anything really. And Karen has just hundreds of ideas, and she is a great teacher. So whatever you can think of or are interested in, let us know. Oh, how fun. Everyone's so sweet. Lots of thank yous. Thank you all for joining.
I'm sure there's some of my ladies. Hello, the club, E3H club. I'm glad you could make it.
Yes. Oh, well, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you here again